Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA, gateway to the 7 theme lands of the Magic Kingdom.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Dreams. My name is Jordan, and with me today is Jack. How are you today, Jack?
Doing good. Hoping to be going to Florida for a Disney cruise and go into the parks. Maybe. Still got to pass a COVID test to get on the boat, but feeling good about that.
Yes, Jack is ready to go behind the seas and ride the Disney cruise. Not the Wish, but we'll talk about the Wish on this episode. I think the last episode we did was the tier list. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Look, we thought summer would be easier, but it wasn't. Had a lot going on this summer, so we will. We were both like taking trips nonstop. 2 of my dogs had surgery. A crazy summer so far.
Yes.
And you're getting ready to take another 2 trips, right? You got this one and another one, so
Yes. So
bear with us while we get ready to record more of these at some point.
Hopefully, in between those 2 trips, I'll be able to come on here and talk about,
Yes.
the Disney experience that I had. So,
or non-experience.
Yes. Hopefully, it will be an experience, though. Basically, to get on one of the Disney cruise ships, you have to pass a COVID test. Makes some sense, right? To try and protect everyone on board. So, just gotta do that, and pending that, I'll be on board. So there we go.
Just realized my background was not Disney related, so I changed it.
I was curious.
I just forgot all about it. Okay, we are here. We got some stuff to talk about. Probably not super long episode. I don't know. But what we have is no like big overall topic, just kind of some catch up that we have to do. Bob Chapek just had a second quarter. I don't know. One of the quarters earnings
second.
call.
I think second.
Yeah, I think so too. And we'll go over some of the stuff that was said in that. That includes a Disney Plus price hike and an ad tier coming soon that we will jump into and talk about that. We got some overseas news for some of these parks and some of these overseas speculation through dubious sources. So we'll kind of just speculate on if this stuff happens. We don't have too long to wait for this because in a month we have Disney Plus, Disney Plus Day on September 8th, and then D23, September 9th, 10th, and 11th. So we'll, we already talked about, we'll be here breaking that news down after that weekend or whatever. But there is an updated schedule as well. So we'll kind of maybe go through some of that. This was released 3 days ago. So I'll just kind of highlight some stuff. Yeah, so I think that's our main topics. And then Disney Wish. We're going to talk a little bit about some of those cool features that we've been seeing pop up all over Twitter and, wherever people are talking and sharing stuff about this. Let's see. So what do you want to start with first? I'll leave it up to you.
I think we should go with the big news, which is the Disney Plus stuff. I think that's the big news right there.
I would probably agree. Disney Plus is... all of Disney streaming services combined have now passed Netflix in total subscriptions. So if you add up, I guess Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN, and I guess Disney Plus Hotstar, overseas, all of this stuff would equal to 221.1 million compared to Netflix's 100 whatever they have. Now, I guess the downside of this is that they're counting some of these things like 3 times. If you have the bundle, you have 3 accounts. Like they're counting. It's a little suspicious, but it's something they wanted to tout, and they're touting it because they can't say Disney Plus is past Netflix, so they're making the numbers work in their favor there.
Why not?
That's what Chapek likes: numbers and money. So, also coming with that is a Disney Plus, what they're going to call Basic, I think.
Yep.
Which is with ads. And the ads are running, what was it, 4 times an hour?
It's
4
it
minutes
is
an hour?
it's 4 minutes of ads per hour watched. So, I mean, when you think about it, like it's less than you would get on cable because that's like what probably 15 minutes of ads per every hour. But when you're streaming like a movie, that's going to be a bit frustrating. If you're in the middle of Avengers Endgame and an hour and you've got 4 minutes of ads.
Natasha and Clint are like debating who's gonna sacrifice themselves, and it's like cut to Papa John's Pizza, and you're like, oh, come on.
Well,
That's
I think
what
that
I wonder. Like, will they put the ads in like spots that make sense? Because sometimes I'm watching something on Hulu, and it just like cuts into something that you're like, okay, well, now I'm seeing this random ad, like, for shows that had built-in commercial breaks, they took their ads in those commercial breaks. I think Only Murders in the Building have been pretty good with that. But I'm just thinking of some other stuff I've maybe seen on Hulu where like it didn't load right or whatever, or maybe Paramount or Peacock, and the ad just starts playing at a random time, and you're like, kind of killed all the tension of the scene here.
Yeah. I think, there's 2 ways that can go. They can either do it and do it well, like put the commercials in well-timed areas, or they can do it in frustrating areas, which will then try and will probably convince some people to upgrade and get them a few more bucks per month. So I could see them doing either way. I hope they do it so it's like a manageable one. For TV shows, it shouldn't be a problem, but for movies, and I wish they had a way so you could either watch like all of the ads at the beginning or all of them at the end, right? So like it like accumulates all of this time and it's like, all right, now you got to watch it. Or like even putting it all at the beginning. I think that would be actually a smarter way to do it. Like if it's like, you load up Avengers Endgame, 3 hours and 30 minutes. They're like, okay, 3 hours and 30 minutes is, what would that be? 14 minutes of ads. You have to start with 14 minutes of ads before you can actually start it. It's just like going to the theaters.
Bad. No, that's still bad.
It's just like going to the theaters.
I gotta put it on. All right, now it's time for me to go to the bathroom, take the dog out.
There you go.
All that stuff. But
I think it's better than having the ads interrupt the movie. That's my way of thinking about it.
It depends. If they can fit it into a spot where like it's like fading out or end of an act, you're like, okay, like that's fine.
I'm just imagining
I just can't imagine 15 straight minutes at the beginning, like.
It's just like going to the theaters.
But at least you're seeing like trailers ahead of time. This is like, Old Navy and Target, and you're like, oh, if I had to see this Target commercial one more time.
They could add in the Nicole Kidman one. Maybe they could add in the Nicole Kidman
the
AMC one. Yeah.
She just re-signed her contract.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the ads, if that's because I've seen a lot of people freaking out about this. I've seen a lot of people saying that just the mention of an ad tier, I am canceling my Disney Plus. Say this. I've seen people call it cable. Here's the difference. Cable, you have no choice if there's ads, right?
Yeah.
But this, you have the option of the ad tier and the regular. But what I want to point out, and I think this needs to be highlighted, because I haven't seen anybody else really talk about it. Even Netflix has talked about adding an ad tier at some point. Why? Because there's no money in streaming as it currently stands with the subscription model. You will get, yes, for sure, some money every single month from people as long as they stay up. But in order to fund the projects you are making, there needs to be some other source of income there. Disney has taken a huge loss to start off with this Disney Plus because they needed to get Mando ready. They needed to get WandaVision ready. They had to get all these shows up and ready. So that way when they launch, they can say, here's Mando. We're working on Loki. Stay subscribed because we guarantee we're going to have stuff. Okay, what happens when they have... Here's the thing about subscribers. There is a finite number of subscribers you're going to have. Because you might look at the population and say, well, technically there's 7 billion subscriptions you can have. Obviously, no, right? Like, there's some people that will not care about your product. There's some people that will not be able to afford your product. There are some people that are not, like I said, interested. You don't have
or there's just families,
Families, right. So they're only having one, or they're having one account, and it's for 20 of the family. So there's issues there. And people that can have out of 7 billion, people that can even afford it in the sense of like having money as an expenditure. Parents do. Teenagers don't, right? So you've talked about it before, how you weren't able to have what you had to convince for ESPN Plus. You had to convince for some of these other subscription services. So if a kid, a teenager, can't just set this thing up. So out of those 7 billion, how many are how many are those, right? And then you also have that it's not available yet everywhere. So when you get to it, there is a finite growth. Even if everybody did have a subscription, what do you do after that? There's no need for you to even produce any more content because everybody has it, right? Now, of course, you got to maintain it. But what we've seen with Netflix, Netflix was a place that was seen as an unstoppable beast, right? Their subscriber growth kept hinging on opening in new locations as well, by the way. But they've now keep increasing their cost because they have to be able to keep funding Stranger Things. They have to keep funding all these big, Red Notice or whatever it is with Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That gets terrible reviews, but they have to pay however much to get the people in there. Martin Scorsese, they had to pay him for Irishman when, he's more of a theatrical guy. He doesn't want to take streaming deals, so you have to pay a premium to get those people to come to your network or your streaming service. And then what have they just done? They've just canceled so much stuff the slightest time their subscriptions started dwindling. They hit their first, at the beginning of the year or end of last year, they hit like the first time they've lost subscribers in however many quarters. And Wall Street hits the panic button. Their stock starts falling. They have to cut funding for stuff. So they start canceling stuff that only had one season or had, so that way they can try to still get the bigger names. What happens is it starts contracting. So why are they looking at ads for Netflix? Because once the subscriber base,
to keep it surviving,
right? Once the subscriber base plateaus, they need something to keep the money rolling. So you look at ads. Disney is getting ahead of that curve now because I'm sure they feel a plateau is coming. Now, that's all that. What Disney has to do now is, and the way Disney's trying to get out in front of this too, right, with the price hike and the ad tier is, what have they done? Well, they stacked the next 2023 and 2024 so much Marvel and Disney stuff, Marvel and Star Wars stuff, that if you're a fan of those, you cannot cancel, right? Because you're going to miss out on something.
Yep.
That's why they loaded those so much for those years, because now they're like, okay, price is up. We're making more content for you, so now you got to pay. Now, what they need to do is start making content that isn't IP based. Making new IPs for Disney Plus. Netflix, believe it or not, did not buy the rights to Stranger Things. That was a show that was pitched and they purchased the contract for it. They landed the pitch, they paid more money, whatever it is, and it's huge. Disney needs something like that, something that can be not Marvel, not Star Wars, and not something like already Disney. So what have we been seeing on Disney recently? Disney Plus. Monsters at Work.
Mm-hmm.
We've been seeing Forky ask questions, right? Shorts. We've had a Zootopia show coming up. We have a Big Hero 6 show coming up. We have I Am Groot shorts. We have Marvel shows and Star Wars shows for centuries. We are having a National Treasure show, right? Because they're like, what other IPs do we have that we can make something on? What they need to do is start branching out. And what I like that they're starting to do too is getting more content on there that already exists. So they just added, I don't even watch the show, but they just added the Orville seasons 1, 2, and 3 from Hulu because they own Hulu and they own Fox, who produced it. So they're like, hey, let's just also put it on Disney Plus. They did that with Runaways, which was a Marvel Hulu show. That's on Disney Plus now. They have started adding like Blackish and all these other shows, Wonder Years, the new Wonder Years. This is what they need to do. Stop putting everything on Hulu, and they have to start putting more stuff on here. Now, again, I don't want to ramble on this, but the reason why they can't fully get rid of Hulu right now like people want is because Comcast still owns part of it until 2024. Once 2024 hits, Comcast either has to pay Disney or Disney has to purchase the rest of the remaining thing from Comcast, or Comcast has to like stay involved. So until that happens and Disney gets full control of it, I think what you're going to see is this still split stuff, but I'm hoping once Hulu can get absorbed in 2024, they start working on that, because every other country has what Hulu has on their Disney Plus with no extra cost. Now, the thing is, they're getting extra money from people here to pay for Hulu. So that's where it's kind of like, how are they going to navigate this when it comes to it? Also, now that they can have TVMA stuff on Disney Plus, there's no need for Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't think them having ads is like a deal breaker. I don't think it's going to, and I think actually the basic plan with ads is either the same price or cheaper than what it currently is. I think the main price increase is just the premium plan. You're not spending a ton of money to do this. And I think actually now that I'm looking at the price increase might be $1 a month with ads, and then that would be $4 a month for the without ads version. Like the $4 a month one might be a little bit steeper, but that's not too bad comparatively, I think, to like other streaming services. I mean, Paramount Plus and Peacock are both $10 a month with ads. Like this is actually pretty reasonable when you think about it. Like, and I think,
and HBO
I'm not
Max
sure,
is 15 without ads, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's
they have more content library wise, but
it's still pretty
HBO
affordable,
Max is really up in the air with the whole Zaslabs thing. So
yeah.
I'll gladly take Disney right now.
Yeah, and I think Disney has a lot of stuff they can still add into it. Like, I do like that they've been updating and adding new Simpsons episodes as they've been coming out onto Disney Plus. That's good. Adding new episodes of TV shows from ABC onto Disney Plus. And I've been going through like the old animated Marvel TV show catalog because they've added like so many of those shows onto there. So I think that they've still got some room to grow, but I think they could do with like some original IPs, but for now, I think, you know, they're still sort of establishing Disney Plus as like the place for everything Disney owns. And once they get control of Hulu, I think that's when they can start the shift towards more like, here's a new IP. Here's something not related to Disney products already. Because
when you talk about live content, I'm like, where's Dave the Barbarian? How is that not on Disney Plus yet? Like,
yeah, see, they've got stuff they can add in still.
the
There's
Weekenders.
plenty.
They have a whole bunch of cartoons that they haven't put on there.
Recess on there yet? I'm not
I
sure.
believe so. I know the movies are.
Okay, like there's stuff they can still add onto this platform. There's plenty of space to grow.
What I'm talking about with new IPs too, and you kind of mentioned and you were going that way, so I'll let you finish with that after I say this. But like when we look at Hulu and they just came with Only Murders in the Building, like start taking some normal pitches, like High School Musical, the series, right? Mm-hmm. That was a pretty popular show and it still is. And, but I think you could have done a show like that without the IP as well. Like we need to start getting, right? Like series that don't fall under these 5 headers, right? Of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Nat Geo. Like, I think that would work pretty great. I'm hoping more stuff comes of it, but I feel like they got to start treating this almost like another network. It could be family friendly stuff, but if they want to, but like a sitcom, like why did they sell the rights to Modern Family syndication stuff to Peacock and Hulu, having a split thing when it can just be on Disney Plus? Modern Family is like TV 14, TV PG. You can have that on here. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, get some other content on here.
Yeah, I think that they'll eventually start switching to that. Like 2024, because right now it makes sense for like American audiences to be like, okay, you want the stuff that isn't directly Disney but controlled by Disney. Here it is on Hulu. You want the stuff that is Disney, like fully Disney. Here, like one of the major IPs here, Disney Plus. But once you get to a point where you can control that part, then you can make it. You have more control over it, because I have a feeling some of the reason why like Only Murders in the Building is on Hulu and not Disney Plus is because Comcast wants it on Hulu, and Disney is to be like, all right.
Well, Comcast actually has no say anymore. So while they own the rights, the operation is fully 100% Disney now. So it's this really weird thing where they like don't actually make any decisions anymore. Like that was another timed thing that like once they hit a certain date, like it went fully to Disney or something. But they still own the money. I mean, maybe they have some sort of say in it. But I think the way that show worked is that they just pitched it to all these streaming services, and I guess Hulu got assigned it. Yeah, it's really confusing the way Disney works with this stuff, because, and I'm not sure anymore. They used to have somebody that was the head of like all of their streaming that would kind of like assign like, all right, this show's going here, this show's going here. But just interesting that like, I get why it wasn't originally Only Murders in the Building, F-bombs galore, right? Yeah. And they only just started adding MA stuff. But like now that wall's broken, I feel like just like the Orville, as soon as that show's over or whatever, they can just shift it on over to Disney Plus, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know though.
I think it's a process, right? Like it will be a process to get it.
Sorry, I'm reading this list of shows. Love Victor was originally a Disney Plus show that got moved to Hulu and is now back on Disney Plus with all episodes on it.
Yeah, it's going to be a process. I think they're still kind of working on establishing like themselves in there, because like you said, like Disney Plus is doing well, but in order to surpass Netflix, it has to include all these other things, right? So I think that they're still trying to solidify that place in there, and I think they'll get there eventually. But a step to getting there and to avoid taking the turn that Netflix has is getting these ads on there, or at least having that price increase and having the ad tier, because as much as people aren't going to like it, it still is a lot cheaper than cable, like by far. And you get a lot of stuff from it. Like ESPN Plus gets you a lot of stuff for sports stuff that you would normally get on cable. And then, you get all this new Marvel and Star Wars content through Disney Plus, and then on Hulu you get all this other stuff. So I think it's a better deal than a lot of than people are making it out to be. It might suck for a little bit, but it's going to be better so that it doesn't go the way of like what Netflix is now experiencing, where they have to increase prices drastically to keep it without ads, right? Like, so I think this is better, and comparatively, it's going to be better for consumers.
Yes. So I just want to kind of break down some of these tiers that they're going to have for people, or bundles, I guess. So Disney bundles with Hulu and stuff are still existing. So starting December 8th will be Disney Plus Basic with ads, $7.99 a month. Premium, which is no ads, is $10.99 a month, or $109.99 a year. Hulu Basic with ads is $7.99 a month. Premium is $14.99 a month. But those prices start October 10th, it looks like. ESPN Plus is going up to $10 a month. Okay, that starts August 23rd. So there is an ad that is called Premium, and it's Disney Plus with no ads, Hulu with no ads, and ESPN Plus with ads, $20 a month. That is the deal, all right? And I saw some people poo-pooing this deal by saying, well, I don't want ESPN. And I get that, but Disney Plus with no ads is going to be $10.99. Hulu with ads, no ads, is $14.99. So it's already $25. And ESPN is $10. So you're getting $35 value for $20.
And even if you don't want ESPN Plus, you're
just
still
don't ever
getting
log in. Just
Yeah,
don't
and
ever log in.
You're still getting the value.
Yeah, but people are like, well, it's like cable then, and I'm getting ESPN, which I don't want. And I'm like, no, because you can still choose to just sub to both separately, unlike cable. But it's cheaper to just sub for both, never use ESPN if you don't want it, and just get the cheaper deal. That is, I thought it was crazy the way some people were acting with that. So that's one of the bundles. The other bundle is what they already pretty much have, which is going to be Disney Plus, this time with ads, Hulu with ads, and ESPN with ads, starting December 8th. That would be $12.99 a month.
Yeah, and you can just get Disney Plus and Hulu with ads for $9.99 a month.
And that's new. Before you could not do just both. But there's no premium without ESPN. Then there's the legacy, which is what people already are locked in with. I guess Disney Plus, no ads, Hulu with ads, ESPN Plus with ads, $14.99. I'm debating going to the $19.99 month because I have all three. I use my sister's Hulu, but if it's going to be cheaper than having Disney Plus and ESPN Plus separately, I might as well just have my own Hulu then.
Yeah.
With no ads compared to them having ads.
There you go. It seems like a pretty good deal, all things considered. But I mean, people are going to complain because people like to complain. At the end of the day, that's just the case, isn't it? Like, people will still complain, even though, does it suck a little bit? Yeah, but it's still not the worst situation.
All right. Anything else with Disney Plus? There's also the Hulu Plus Live TV stuff, but Google it yourself. I don't have Hulu Live TV.
We've got other stuff like Paris,
stuff.
Disneyland Paris. Some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, so they just opened up their Marvel Avengers campus to not so thunderous applause.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, it is. They had an Iron Man ride I think this is the only ride that opened yet.
Well, I think they had
Avengers
the
Assemble Flight Force.
they had the Ant-Man ride there as well.
Oh,
But
do they have that there?
I
thought
think
that was
it's
in
that
Hong
one.
Kong.
I might be thinking incorrectly. Let me make sure I'm getting the right stuff out there. But Marvel Avengers Campus. But yeah, they definitely have that Avengers flight one with Iron Man and Captain Marvel. I want to say it is that you've got. And then it also looks like the Spider-Man Web Adventure, which is similar to the one at Disneyland, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I think that one's not open yet. I think they just did, because okay, so for people that don't know, Avengers Flight Force is Iron Man and Captain Marvel. People call it the Iron Man ride because he has this huge advanced animatronic in the queue. Now, it's where Rock and Roller Coaster used to be, and they pretty much just remodeled it. So I think that's why some people are a little sour on it. Oh, can I find a video of it? Not that I'll share, but I just kind of want to watch it while I'm sitting here and be like,
yeah, there
like.
It looks like there is one.
So I guess most of the complaints I've seen is just that it's just an okay ride. It's not super amazing, I guess, is what the main complaint is. It didn't really wow them because it pretty much just feels like a reskinned Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, the pre-show and queue were really cool, but
And they got huge great reviews for those.
Yeah, but people were just a little bit left a little a little let down by seeing seeing that it's just the same ride but with a different skin over it, which I can kind of get it. It's basically what they did with it sounds like kind of what they did in Disneyland with the Monsters Inc. ride being just a repaint of Superstar Limo, but actually doing better with the queue and stuff in this one. But there's a rumor though that it's going to close in early 2023, and honestly, I'm not sure if I really believe that. Right? Like, Disney invested all of this time in it. Marvel is still extremely popular, and just Avengers Campus being there is a draw, like regardless of the supposed quality of the ride, right? Like, people are still going to come for Avengers Campus, and I don't think that I don't think they would like shut it down completely. I think maybe they might change some of the effects and make them a little bit better, which is fair. Like, it wouldn't be the first time they've changed effects after a ride's been opened. But I think saying like it'll close down is a bit ridiculous given how much investment's been put into it. And all the world building that Disney's set up between all of the Avengers Campus parks, I just don't believe it.
I just watched it. Okay. Yeah, it's Rock and Roller Coaster. Okay, but instead of like the donuts and like the road signs and all that kind of stuff, it's like actual like projections or light up screens of like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel and Iron Man defeating Kree missiles. So you're right. When you're talking about the storyline, we're going to talk about the Disney Wish here in a bit, but in the Marvel dinner show, Captain Marvel mentioned she has a date with some Kree missiles, and in this ride, she defeats Kree missiles. So there's the linkage of some of the stories between all the Avengers campuses, the Wish, to hear. So you're right. Probably not going to close down. I think it could get a slight refurb. So the rumor is, and I forget where I originally saw it. It wasn't Inside the Magic, but now that's where I'm seeing it from. But the original rumor, I guess, was executives wrote this thing because they were there for opening, and we're just kind of like, that wasn't great.
Yeah, I'm watching the videos now as well right now.
Kind of like, well, maybe we can do better. The other rumor is that the reason it wasn't great is because they had to cut the budgets because the executives told them to cut the budgets. But then the executives write it and they're like, this isn't great. And it's like, yeah, because you made us cut budget. So I don't know. It's something fun to think about, I guess, because I want the best ride possible. But yeah, I doubt a full closure.
Yeah, I haven't even finished watching it yet, and I can already just tell. Yeah, this ride is like 70% darkness.
Just like Rock and Roller Coaster. Yeah,
although that one has like at least a few more eye-catching things that you can see on the way through it, right? Like it definitely does need like some more effects in it. But saying it will close down altogether, that's kind of ridiculous. It's Marvel. When was the last time Marvel gave up on a project? Right? Like if Marvel has any say in this, it's not going down. Like because Marvel hasn't given up on the worst reviewed projects of it that's created, right? Like Thor: The Dark World. Never gave up on it. They've represented in the parks. There's a bunch of in the Guardians of the Galaxy queue in Disneyland, the former Tower of Terror. There's a bunch of references to the Dark World in there. Like Marvel doesn't give up on stuff. And
so okay, I found it. It was called Outside Ears. Is the place that covers Disneyland Paris, and they're the ones that had this original report. So instead of Outsiders, Outside Ears with an A in there. And it's .fr. It's a French site. I had to translate it. It says that Bob Chapek and Josh Amaro were there, and that they were disappointed with the overall quality of the attraction. After the queue and a high-quality pre-show created strong expectations for visitors. So I guess I'm just reading this on the fly here. They're going to be working on rehabilitation of the attraction in the coming months to improve the overall experience. We don't have details about this version 2.0 of the ride, but it seems like the addition of screens, the improvements of the existing one as well, as this effects will be part of the upgrade phase. And they said maybe January to March because that's usually not the peak time in Paris. So,
I mean, the other thing I'll say is, if Disney hasn't given up on Disneyland Paris as a concept after the opening,
Euro Disney.
Yeah, I have no belief that they would give up on this ride altogether. Right? Like they have stuck with this park for decades, despite it being like losing the park millions, if not billions of dollars. Like it, if they're sticking with it still, they're sticking with it forever. Maybe not forever, but for a while, right? Like,
yeah, it's as somebody that's been to Disneyland Paris twice, I really enjoy it. I want to go back. So if they do upgrade it and make it a little better, I that's perfect for me because I'm not getting there anytime soon. So just, get it the best shape for my next trip.
yeah.
But yeah, what else the site said, though, not that site, but Inside the Magic was saying that the wait times for that ride were like 20 minutes on opening day, which is not great.
Yeah, I mean, not great.
And I'll say, though, I think that might just be a roller coaster thing. I don't think they like them over there, to be honest.
No, there.
Because
I don't. At least in France, I don't think it's as big,
mm-mm,
right?
mm. When I went over there, like Space Mountain, which is a more roller coaster one than usual, it has loop in it.
Yep.
Didn't have long lines. The Indiana Jones roller coaster did not have long lines. Yeah, they're not really into like so.
The shows and I think have like longer.
Rock and Roller Coaster, when which is what this
Mhm,
ride
yep.
is. Both times I went, barely any line. So I just don't think it has all to do with this. I think it has to do with overall, it's just not that popular of a thing over there.
Yeah, that could be it, and also just it being Disneyland Paris. I feel like it might be the least attended Disney park of all of them. I think it might still be the least attended. But yeah, I have confidence that they'll make it into something good. But it just goes to show you, hey, if you slash budgets, it tends to be disappointing. You'd think Disney would have learned the lesson with Superstar Limo. That's the second time I've referenced that this episode somehow, but saw how disappointing that gets if you cut budgets. So you'd think they'd learn their lesson, but maybe not. But I hope they don't cut this next thing, because I would like them to have it, because there was a rumor that it's kind of we're not going to give this a bunch of weight to it. We're just going to put it out there. There's this clickbaity article that kind of says Galaxy's Edge likely canceled at Disneyland Paris. But when you read the article, it's an interview with the president of Disneyland Paris, Natasha Rafalski, I believe. When asked by the interviewer about if it's still planned based off of Star Wars, he said, "We're still working on the third theme. We will make announcements about this when we are ready." It's not saying it's canceled. It's not saying it's on necessarily as Star Wars, but it's not an official cancellation or anything. Like, it could just be that they're working on how to fit it into everything, how to make it work. So,
Well,
I'd take that with a grain of salt, though.
Yeah, I'd say take it with a grain of salt. But what I'll point out is that there is, when they announced all these changes, there was concept art of Bad 2. They were like, yes, we're having another Bad 2. Now, it's supposed to be a smaller one. It's supposed to be a little bit more, I think, just Rise or just Falcon. It wasn't going to be all the rides. It wasn't going to have all the same experiences. But the fact that he said it like that, with we're still working on the theme and not confirming that it was Galaxy's Edge anymore, is the thing that kind of makes me think maybe there's rumors that it could be changed to Pandora. Was kind of like knocked out of the park at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, well, and it's not a section that needs to be as big as my screen froze, but I see fine. But yeah, my face froze, I guess.
Yep,
But
it's frozen on my end.
there we go. Okay, but Pandora doesn't take as much space, like acreage wise, so they could do a more normal Pandora than Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge also is based off the sequel trilogy, which some people are having a time with. There was rumors that they could even change it from the sequel trilogy to a more original trilogy basis for any of these other countries when they do that. So who knows? If it's going to still be Galaxy's Edge, it could be that it's Bad 2, but not sequel trilogy Bad 2, which would be fine. There's rumors it could be Pandora. Whatever it is, I just hope they do it well.
I mean, Disney tends to do like themed lands pretty well, so
I don't think we need a Bad 2 at every park, every resort. So I'm fine if they don't.
Give people a reason to go to other ones.
I've been screaming that on this show for however many years now. Yeah. Like
Disney knows how to get money, and the best way to do it is to make exclusive experiences for the parks. Otherwise,
You would think.
like, yeah, otherwise why go to a different park if you're going to get a lot of the same things? It's why they made Space Mountain different in Disneyland Paris with the shot to the moon theme or whatever. That that it's why they make them different. Otherwise, why would someone who lives in Florida just not always go to Disney World? Right? You've got to give them a reason to go elsewhere. So I think it'd be fine if they made actually a brand new land that isn't anywhere else. That would be even better. That would be even cooler. I mean, yeah,
they kind of are. They're doing an Arendelle over there.
Yeah, I mean, Epcot's Norway has basically been transformed into that at this point. Like,
this is bigger. This is a little bigger section. From what I see on the picture, it looks like it actually has like the castle and like the mountain.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I mean, see, that stuff like that is kind of cool. Like,
yeah,
making stuff like that. I wish so badly that it was an Indiana Jones section. I love Indiana Jones. I can't tell you how much I would love for any of the parks to just get an Indiana Jones section, like entirely themed around Indiana Jones.
What would you do for a whole section though? Like, I feel like you get like at best maybe 2 rides, and then you're like, oh, what else to do here?
2 rides. Maybe you could make like a version of the stunt show themed around it as well. You could make you could easily transform like a tree house into something to do with it. You could make like, a walkthrough type thing that's like a temple, like a few walkthroughs that are like temples or something like that, and have like an interactive experience, kind of like what I'd imagine the Moana Way of Water thing at Epcot's going to be. I don't know. I could probably create an entire podcast episode on making an Indiana Jones section of the park, and because
we'll have to save it. We'll have to save it for one of the other topics.
One, yeah,
like we did with the Marvel theme one.
Yep.
Okay. So that's it for overseas, right? Is that it?
I mean, yeah. Unless you want to count the cruise line as overseas, which I guess it's technically
it's international waters.
Yeah, it's technically over the sea, as in
yes,
it's on top of the sea. So I mean,
yeah, it's the opposite of under the sea.
True. Hopefully, I mean that's what you want.
You hope, yeah. I mean, Titanic kind of shows that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do the cruise then. I want to start with the Avengers restaurant, I guess, because I think that is the coolest.
Yeah, Worlds of Marvel.
Yeah, join Ant-Man and the Wasp during Avengers Quantum Encounter, a demonstration of powerful superhero technologies. Leap into your own heroic role using an interactive quantum core at your table to shrink and grow objects at the push of a button as you take part in the action-packed Avengers mission that unfolds around you. All the while, enjoy a worldly menu inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, featuring a range of delicacies from classic all-American fare to rich African flavors.
The food sounds fantastic, gotta say. If it's like an international type thing, great. I love that. But also, the video and like the experience that they play for this, so many wins for me. You have Sam Wilson and Ant-Man in it. All they needed it was to throw in Doctor Strange, and it would have been dreams come true right there.
Well, what we also have is Miss Marvel interacting with with Sam Wilson, Captain America,
which is very cool.
That's like mind blowing, right? When I'm sitting there watching this clip, and I'm like, oh my god, this feels like I'm seeing like. Now, of course, it's not actually taking place in the MCU. Like, they've made it this alternate universe, so that way all these characters can exist at the same time and not have to worry about, oh, Iron Man died before this character was introduced. Like, that's how they're getting around it. But what I think is really cool is just the fact of seeing that they got these actors to film this stuff, that, he was in his full Captain America uniform while she's in her Miss Marvel. outfit. So it's like really cool having them all kind of like interact like that, because we haven't seen some of these characters in Phase 4 even interact yet.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. It's a cool take on it, and you know, I think it's just a neat idea to have there be this extra layer of experience to the dining. That being said, the one concern I kind of have about it is, will this feel kind of like just like a novelty thing where it's really cool the first time, and then if you go on it again, it's like, I don't know.
They can update it.
They can update it, but at the same time, I don't think it has like the same it unless they update it, it doesn't have the same like not quite rewatchability, re-experienceability,
Re-eatability.
yeah like at other restaurants, you know, like on the Disney cruises, if you're not familiar with it, they do rotational dining where you and your wait staff move around between the 3 restaurants on the boat every time. So you get to experience restaurants multiple times. So do they play that, like if it's a longer cruise, do they have the whole experience every time? Or is it just like
so?
Maybe, but and at the
what
same
if I
time,
have to go to the bathroom during one of the big show scenes? I got to be able to see it again.
I guess so. But for some people, there's also, I feel like there might be a concern that it gets old for some people. For me,
just skip it.
probably
It's
not.
already paid for, right? Just skip it then.
For me, it probably wouldn't. But at the same time, I think some people might complain about it. You know, because people like complaining. They might. But it's still a super cool concept, and I love that they're integrating Marvel into this.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. It's kind of like, instead of the MCU, the MDPU, Marvel Disney Parks universe or something like that, you know, because they're all connecting now. That this is a different.
How about the ACU, Avengers Campus Universe?
Hey, that works. You know,
there you go.
The Avengers Campus Universe. That's what they've got. Imagine if they brought these versions in, like in. I know this isn't our Marvel podcast, but if they brought them into like Secret Wars, imagine like, what universe are you from? The Disney Cruise Line. My God.
DCP, the Disney Parks Cruise Lines cinematic universe.
Yeah, Earth 1971 or
yes, there you go. Perfect. That's perfect.
Or actually, no, that's
1955
right? Works better because, you know, Disney World's the one park that can't have any Marvel, like any. Although I guess they have the Guardians there, so there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's that'd be good. What I was going to say too is that I think this is set up to be changed at any time. The restaurant is called Worlds of Marvel, right? And this has an official name, this Ant-Man quest line, right? Avengers Quantum Encounter. So I feel like they'll be able to, maybe like in a couple years, they're like, okay, we're done with Avengers Quantum Encounter, or it gets added into a rotation. And now we have Worlds of Marvel, you know, Daredevil, Hell's Kitchen, right? There you go.
Daredevil on a Disney cruise.
Hell's Kitchen. You're eating in hell. I don't know. I feel like it's a good name for a
Asgard. You could have an Asgard one.
Yeah, there you go.
Asgardian Feast.
Yeah, new Asgards, or what is that? The Infinity Cones or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So there's ways that they can add in a rotation, and then maybe then, if you do get a second time, they're like, okay, well, first day is Avengers Quantum, you know, Ant-Man Quantum Encounter, and the second day is, you know, the Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Not the Gordon Ramsay.
They can change it. They can change it around, right? But
yeah,
at least at first, I think that might be
new
something.
Heroes.
As they come. Yeah, they could do it. They could remix it a little bit. They can definitely make it more like more customizable and more re-experienceable, I guess.
So it'd be Worlds of Marvel, Deadpool, Chimichangas,
Deadpool
Deadpool
on a
Taco
Disney
Tuesday.
cruise. Could you imagine if they just had like Deadpool, Moon Knight, Wolverine, and Daredevil all in like
Blade.
one? Oh my god! Here's the Midnight Suns on the Disney Cruise Line. That fits well.
Yes, Midnight Buns. There you go. That's the name of the storyline. Okay, so that looks fun. They also have this other great old Hollywood style restaurant called, I guess, just 1923.
I believe so. Yeah, 1923. Because
named
that's
after the year the
Yep.
studios was founded. This sophisticated dining establishment celebrates the unwavering spirit of the original studio that started it all. Travel back in time and dine amid storyboards, sketches, and props that illustrate the early animation process while delighting in some of the tantalizing flavors found throughout the Golden State.
Yeah, and that seems like kind of the replacement for Animator's Palette, because that's the difference, I think, in for this cruise line, for this ship. There's no Animator's Palette. That's one of the few consistencies between all of the ships before. So I think that kind of takes over for that. Which I think it's a cool little theme, a little homage to the start of the company, and almost 100 years later, kind of matches up. So cool. They also have a frozen dining experience called Arendelle, which is a theatrical dining experience. So it's like a Frozen show while you're eating, and the art that they show here is like you're literally right next to the stage. So
yeah, it's kind of like the stage is in the center and everything's around it, and you have like an Anna waving at a family.
Or Elsa. That's
no.
what
Elsa's doing her show. Anna is in the right corner. If you can see that,
Wait.
I just saw her. She's in the bottom right corner.
Oh
She's
yeah,
got
okay.
This really awkward face, and like, I don't like waving at you, kid, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh, okay. This makes so much more sense. I had my phone flipped vertically, not horizontally. That didn't show the full picture. Okay, that makes a lot more sense there. Because Hope's face was like completely. No, it actually is just cut off. Okay, never mind.
No, Hope's face is fully on there.
Okay, then it's just my phone. It's just my phone.
Yeah. It's probably not best on the mobile site, but
yeah, let's go to the desktop website.
Yeah, there is a very awkward looking Anna here. Like, I think she's supposed to be like happy, but she kind of has like her eyebrows raised. She's, you know what? I'll share this screen here for the video watchers who will be able to see what I'm talking about here.
Okay, yeah, right, I see Hope's face as well now, and then I'm
bottom right corner here.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not on the phone. that's
Anna's like, I don't know about this. Like, she seems very unsure about
like
waving
the little
at this
kid.
kid.
I thought you meant the little kid, and I was like,
no, the kid is excited as all get out.
No, that's right. That's why I was confused. I was like, that's just a kid dressed. But okay.
No, here's that Anna right here. She's like,
yep.
I'm trying to sneak away. Don't wave at me. My break's over. It's break time. Like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I think it's the way they drew her hand or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. I think
back.
it's an interesting concept. I think it's interesting that they're trying a bit more themed dining, you know.
The storyline is that you're seeing musical performances from Elsa and Olaf as you devour hearty Norwegian-inspired cuisine made by Oaken himself.
Oh, he's a cook.
It's a dinner worth melting for.
Huh.
You know, what'd be great is if can they do this? And I know this thing's already done, right? But can they make like an interactive kitchen door that is all steamed up, and when you and then you see Oaken like wiping it away like his sauna, and
Mhm.
he's just wearing a towel, like cooking your food. Can they do that? I feel like that. I feel like
They
that'd be
could.
funny, but I feel like then some
They
Karen would
got
take
it.
that seriously and be like,
Oh yeah.
"Oh, come on, this is
Call
inappropriate."
call the health department on it. Like
Yeah,
there's a guy with no shirt and a giant beard cooking my food.
calling the health department from a cruise.
Yeah,
Health department's
fine.
like, "Oh, we're international waters, ma'am."
Yeah, like like what are they gonna do? They're gonna helicopter onto the boat and just be like, all right, we got to see the kitchen.
Take them away.
Yep.
They also have Quick Bites, which is like
It's inspired by the Mickey and Minnie, like
Marceline
the the new animated shorts. It looks like it's inspired by, which I know you're not as big of a fan of the designs of the characters in, but
Mickey is cute, Donald's cute, Goofy is ugly.
I love the new Goofy design. I like it.
Oh no,
It's great.
You know what Goofy is? Goofy is he's like Patrick from SpongeBob. That's what he reminds me of. Very gross humor with the new Goofy.
Yeah, I can kind of see it, but I think it's still kind of I think it's funny. I think it's kind of funny. It fits more with today's kids humor, I think is what it does. But for dining, I mean, you know, that's pretty cool. I feel like it's kind of strange, no animator's palette, but they've also got the Aqua Mouse, which is a water slide that's like full show scenes and stuff like that, and then you land in a lazy river.
Now, is this a missed opportunity?
What do you mean?
They could have done Aqueduct.
They have the aqueduct.
Do they have the aqueduct somewhere?
It's called. So they have the aqueduct, which is on the Disney Dream, which is the one that I'm going on. So it's aqua. Is it duck or duct? I think it's duck.
If it's not duck,
if
it is not duck and themed around Donald Duck, then they have
it is themed around Donald Duck.
Okay.
They have that, and they have the aquadunk, which is like a drop down slide. Yeah, it's the aqueduct. Yes.
Okay. Good. I can forgive them then.
And then the aquadunk is the other one.
Okay,
So
Aqua Mouse. I guess that's fine. I don't know.
Yeah. It tracks with everything. It tracks. Don't worry.
It's the first ever Disney attraction at sea. It's a water adventure with colorful cartoon-inspired world by the famous Mickey Mouse animated shorts. Awash in immersive show scenes, music, lighting, and special effects, this fun-filled water experience invites Disney fans to glide up and down, around, and off the side of the ship through 760 feet of twisting tubes, providing breathtaking views of the ocean before splashing down into a lazy river.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
We really think this is the first one at sea? Like,
well, it's the
is
first
it that
attraction.
much more immersive? Yeah, I'm just saying, is it that much more?
Because the aqueduct is legitimately just like a water slide that has like Donald Duck on the sign. Like, that's it. That's what makes it the aqueduct. It has Donald Duck on the sign. So yes, this seems like 1,000 times more immersive.
Okay. And how immersive do you actually think it is? Because it's a slide, so how fast can they show you this show scenes and stuff?
I'm going to be interested to like when I can find like a POV of this just to see what it's like. But
yeah, can we?
I'm not sure if they'll have it up yet, but you know, like I think they can get pretty immersive with it. You know, I think they can.
Oh, POV. Yep. All right. Wait time of 10 minutes. That's not bad. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So it is like literally on a conveyor belt that you're sitting on with the tube. And you're seeing like the tube.
This looks like a ride.
Yeah, this does not look like a water slide. I wonder if I'm guessing it at some point gets to a water slide.
Yeah, I'm scared. It's a long video too, like 3 minutes of this slide.
It's in a minute of it is just going real slow through all the show scenes.
Yeah, I'm like scrubbing through it a little bit just to see where it goes.
All right, there we go. So it's about a minute of an actual ride then through the slide.
Yeah.
So you get about 2 minutes of show, 1 minute of slide. That's what you're looking at.
I like how this guy has the camera facing towards him as well as he goes down.
Oh, does he? I'm watching
Yeah.
DCL Fan on YouTube.
Ah.
2 minute 48-second video is what I have here. Oh, and then they have not animatronics, but they have like a little.
I mean, it looks kind of like a roller coaster. You know, you go off the deck, off the boat a little bit.
So they said you go into a lazy river. This is you clearly just get off and step out of this raft.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I mean, it still looks pretty good. It does look
Yeah.
pretty immersive. It looks pretty good.
Okay. So we have Disney Uncharted Adventure, which is not the Tom Holland film or the PS game, but it is discovering a layer of hidden enchantment on board the Disney Wish. A first of its kind interactive experience that takes classic Disney storytelling to new heights, literally. When an unknown evil force attacks the wishing star, its magic splits into pieces that land in far-off realms. To bring back the star's power, Captain Minnie needs guest help navigate the ship towards uncharted worlds. Join Captain Minnie, Captain Mickey, and some of your favorite Disney characters on a multi-dimensional search for the magic across storybook worlds, including those of Moana, Nemo, Princess Tiana, Peter Pan, and more. Using your mobile device as an enchanted spyglass, embark on quests that let you interact with the ship in new and exciting ways, then battle an infamous Disney villain to restore the wishing star's magic. That villain being Ursula, from what we can see in the concept art here.
I'm gonna trust you on that because mine does not show that much, but I'll trust you.
Right.
I'll trust you on it. And it sounds good because the Dream and Fantasy have what's called the Midship Detective Agency. Okay, yep, I can, yep, that that, and it looks similar to that, but with far more advanced technology, which is
It
very
looks
cool.
weird. Like, I'm trying to figure out what they're actually doing.
I'm
here.
guessing it's like some sort of AR technology, right? Augmented
Yeah.
reality stuff. That's got to be what it is.
Just imagining kids being like, "I choose Peter Pan," and like throwing a Pokeball.
It's
at this.
Pokemon. It's Pokemon.
They're taking on Ursula in a raid.
That would be good. It
I'd
would
do it.
definitely. I'd do it
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty cool from what I can tell from it. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I have no idea what it's supposed to be really,
Yeah.
besides an interactive, immersive adventure. What they say.
Whole bunch of buzzwords here.
Yes.
But
And
with
then they've got-
multidimensional, it makes me think of like this is, the meme of this is my multiverse of madness here.
Disney Multiverse of Madness. They couldn't use Multiverse of Madness because it was trademarked. They could. It was too confusing. Otherwise, they would have had to have Doctor Strange.
Mouseyverse of madness.
Multiverse of Madness. Multi-Mouse of Madness.
Yes,
Yeah, it kind of works.
we can workshop it.
Multiverse of Mouseness.
And we'll pitch it to them.
Yeah,
They also have the Walt Disney Theater, which has
course,
a Little Mermaid show.
that's kind of cool. Their shows are always pretty good.
Yeah, I saw a Hercules one there.
Yeah, their shows are always good. Like they're pretty high quality. So
They have the Superhero Academy, which is for children's 3 to 12.
it's the
where you
kids
can
club. Yep.
meet some superheroes. They have a Star Wars Cargo Bay, which is where you can, it's called Creature Keepers, is a fun adventure where you step into a highly interactive space modeled after a high-tech cargo bay. They're put to test as they feed lifelike interactive creatures and encounter some of the most dangerous beings in the galaxy.
This kids club is way more fun than when I was going on the cruise when I was eligible to be in these.
Literally, mine as a kid, till 12 years old,
Yeah.
was this room where they had Legos and
Mhm.
they had computers, and they're
Yep.
like, "Yeah, who wants to be a millionaire? That's your game on the computer." And you're like,
Okay,
"I guess that's what I'm playing."
It had all the Disney Channel games on it. That's what it had on mine. And then
Mine probably
like
had that too, but I
there
was
some
like sitting
play,
there like trying to win fake $1 million.
but like the last thing, a Walt Disney Imagineering Lab,
Yeah, this was
create
great.
your own Disney attraction, and then go into a capsule to ride the roller coaster you created. That's just like some of all thrills from Innoventions.
It's like in Disney Quest they had a ride like that. It's called like it was a Space Mountain ride, but you like build your own roller coaster.
Yeah, like what is this? What is this? Huh?
I don't know.
And then scroll down a little bit because
Fairy Tale Hall?
no, past that. I mean
Okay.
that's kind of fun. But you'll like the next thing that's on there. I'm not sure if you've looked through this yet, but
I have not. Elevated Adult Escapes. All right, so this is nice. This is a hyperspace lounge.
that looks good.
So what's the story here, though? So what's the story here? You got on a cruise and somehow get transported into a spaceship?
I don't know. I mean the Disney Dream has a sports bar that transports you through like London, Paris, other skylines like that out the windows. So I guess it's just forget that you're on a cruise and be in space instead. I don't know. It sounds good.
Yeah, it's a family watering hole during the day, but at night, the lounge jumps to light speed and becomes a haven for adults only, offering interactive tasting experiences and signature beverages inspired by the hit films.
It might be like Oga's Cantina a little bit.
I got to get on this Wish, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't the other stuff like all the kids club stuff can't be done. So at least for us.
I'll figure it out. We have Apollo Steakhouse, which is for some reason themed after Cogsworth.
Yeah, that's true. I don't get that part because they have Paulo on
Paulo
all the
sounds
other
like
ships.
Brazilian.
Yeah,
you have
the Kagan Compass. All right.
the logo's pretty cool though. The A is like shaped like Cogsworth body with like the bell, and then the O is Cogsworth face. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
We have the Kagan Compass, which is a pub with a splash of Viking influence.
Seems kind of cool.
They also have the Rose, which looks like a lounge, Enchante, which is a restaurant, and Senses Spa.
Gotta have a spa.
And then they have the beds.
Oh, they have a
Which we don't
salon
really
and a barber shop. What?
Do they have a bar quartet?
No, but it's themed after Captain Hook's private quarters, and
Aboard
adults
the
20.
Jolly Roger.
Yeah, adults 21 and older can enjoy a hidden bar featuring whiskey, bourbon, and rum.
They also have the Bayou, which is inspired by Princess and the Frog, which is a bar lounge. Yep, a lounge.
Yeah. I mean, it seems pretty good, and these rooms look very nice as well.
Yeah,
how they've been themed. Like I've got to say the theming on this is far more immersive than most of the other ships.
definitely. I forget which one I rode.
Cool.
Magic? No, Wonder. I rode Wonder.
I've been
As a kid.
on. I think I've been on the Fantasy Dream, and I think the Wonder or Magic. I can't remember which one. There's one that I haven't been on. I think it's the Magic that I haven't been on though. So, but now there's the Wish, and it looks pretty good.
All right. Just some other little things. Merchant of Venus is now reopened, not as a store, but as a relaxation zone.
Okay.
I hate that. I used to like this store.
I mean,
But-
I think they could use Magic Kingdom. Definitely needs some good spaces to like just chill out and relax.
It's
So
literally like not that far from whatever the section's called. I'm blanking right now, but by the main street to like go to Tony's restaurant and then start heading towards Tomorrowland. And you have that all undercover thing they do for the fireworks shows. There's tons of spots they could just have people sit there instead.
I mean, I don't necessarily have a connection to the Merchant of Venus one, so I think it's fine. I haven't seen much of it. I won't see it actually on this trip that we're going on because we're not going to Magic Kingdom. So just Hollywood Studios and Epcot. So
Bob Chapek talking about potential price increases here for the parks. Here's his official statement. We read demand. We have no plans right now in terms of what we're going to do, but we operate with a surgical knife here. Okay. It's all up to the consumer. If consumer demand keeps up, we'll act accordingly. If we see a softening, which we don't think we're going to see, then we can act accordingly as well. So
makes sense.
Yeah, but how much until they price out almost everybody that can go?
Hopefully they won't do that. Let's just hope they won't do that. But
yeah. Okay, updated the 23 Expo schedule. Just looking at stuff. They have a Marvel Draw Live, which is showing how to draw some of Marvel's most iconic heroes and villains. That's at 2 p.m. on the Friday. That's pretty cool. I won't be there, but that's cool. The big showcase thing for Disney Animation and Pixar is Friday at 3:30. We've talked about that before. Just seeing if they've added anything new. 10 a.m. on Saturday, September 10th. That's 10 a.m. Pacific, by the way. Is the Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century Fox showcase. They have like Bob's Burgers stuff. They have Simpsons stuff. They have more Marvel Draw Live. They have a Marvel Comics celebrating 60 years of Amazing Spider-Man.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They have Zootopia Bakes on Saturday. Then on Sunday, September 11th, we have a sneak peek of Mickey, the Story of a Mouse, which is a Disney original documentary, which is presenting a panel dedicated. So it's a panel dedicated to Mickey, Story of a Mouse, which celebrates one of the world's most beloved icons, hosted by Brett Ewan, the official voice of Mickey himself. The panel will include filmmakers and select film participants. Attendees will get behind-the-scenes look at the making of the film. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be a Disney Plus thing.
Could be. I mean, it sounds like it could be.
That'd be cool. They have a panel for Proud Family. They have a celebrating 90 years of Goofy with the voice of Bill Farmer, animator Eric Goldberg, and some other people that are going to be on the stage there. And not much more else. I mean, if you want to look at it, it's on Deadline had something, but it's a lot of more of what panels are going to be out, and a lot of them are based off of these TV shows or movies that they're releasing in the coming months.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they announce there.
I'm looking forward to it. We're a month away. It'll be fun to see what is announced on D23. I say keep expectations in check for the parks because they're still climbing out of the hole of COVID. So I would say probably not any big news there, but just something to keep an eye on. All right. So you are going to be hopefully going onto a cruise ship and all that. So we'll talk about that next time.
Mhm.
after your trip. But anything else that you want to talk about before we head out of here?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited to hopefully go on a cruise, go to the Food and Wine Festival, my first Food and Wine Festival where I can participate in more than just the food offerings. So there is that. I'm looking forward to that, and also the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster. Excited for that. So hopefully I'll be able to give a little bit of a review of some of those things and talk about, the Food and Wine Festival. Epcot's one of my favorite parks, so I'm glad to see it, get in some stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy, some exclusive stuff that really draws people in. So
I agree. All right. Well, yeah, that about wraps us up. If you want to follow us on any of our socials, Twitter is at BT Disney Podcast, Facebook.com/Behind the Dreams Podcast, Instagram at Behind the Dreams Podcast, and email us behindthedreamspodcast@gmail.com with any sort of feedback, things like that. So probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have another episode about Jack's travels, and then we'll get ready for our D23 coverage. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend, and we'll catch you next time.